on you.
Heartbreaking testimony.
Well, I heard my dad screaming, and he was tying something really tight around my legs. I didn't know what it was.
For the first time, a Tennessee teen who lost her legs when a car crashed into her in downtown St. Louis talks publicly about that moment.
I felt something hit me, and it was warm. And then after that, I ended up on my stomach, face down, and I was screaming because I couldn't feel my body.
Janae Edmondson and her mother take the stand to talk about the trauma of just over a year ago.
Her eyes were so weak. I didn't know if she was going to make it.
This as testimony in the trial of Daniel Riley wraps up. And right now, the Daniel Riley case is in the hands of the jury. Thanks for being here at 4. I'm Kay Quinn.
And I'm Brent Solomon. Police say Riley caused the crash that seriously injured the teenager, causing her to lose her legs. 5 on your side's Christine Byers was in the courtroom when Janae took the stand this morning. She joins us live with more on her emotional testimony. Christine.
Brent and Kay, I've covered a lot of trials in my career, and I've got to tell you, today was some of the most emotional testimony I've ever heard. Janae Edmondson, now 18 years old, wheeled herself into the courtroom, her amputated legs exposed for the jurors to see. She told them she was walking with her parents in downtown St. Louis on the night of the crash in February of 2023. They were debating whether to get pizza or chicken for dinner when the sound of an engine roar caught her attention. She said she saw Daniel Riley's Audi barreling toward them and yelled for her father to get back. She said she then felt something hit her and suddenly felt warm. Then she says she wanted to stand up.
And I was screaming because I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. And so I tried to stand up, but my dad and my mom said no, to stay still.
Christine, who else
Just
did
before
jurors hear
Janae
from?
took Sure. Just before Janae took the stand, her mother also testified. And then the defense, they rested their case after about an hour and a half of presenting their witnesses, and there were 4 witnesses.
All right, thank you so much, Christine. Stay with 5 on your side for full coverage of the Daniel Riley trial. Once the jury has reached a verdict, we will stream it live on KSDK.com and on the 5 on your side app.
Let's go ahead and turn now to your weather first forecast. We are in a weather alert as heavy rain could impact your evening commute. Chief Meteorologist Scott Cano now with how long that rain will stick around.
Well, it's on the way into the St. Louis area right now, and it looks like we're going to continue to see this rain. Once it moves in, off and on right through tomorrow into tomorrow night. And at times that means it's going to get wet and slick on the roads, and the rush hour is going to be, in some cases, a challenge. We're starting to see the clouds lower and thicken out here in St. Charles right now. Rain looks like it's more prevalent there. Starting to see the roads get a little glaze on them, if you will. A little sheen to the road, not icy glaze, but a little sheen to the road, indicating that we are starting to see this rain pushing in. The larger area of stronger weather and heavier rain remains back over the Ozarks, but we are starting to see things pick up here, sliding into the metro right now. None of this is expected to be overly heavy for the next hour or two, but at times there will be heavy rain for tonight into tomorrow morning and even into tomorrow afternoon, all part of a very large weather system that will bring us some badly needed rain. So it's waves of rain, some thunder, severe weather's not expected. We're in that weather alert because of the potential of slowing things down for the rush hours, not only this evening, but again tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. The rain will move out early Saturday. We'll track it in just a few minutes, Brent.
All right, Scott, stay close. Stay on top of the weather 24/7. If you text weather to 314-425-5355, we'll send the forecast right to your phone.
Now to a developing story in South St. Louis. Right now, police investigating the deaths of 2 people. Officers responded to a home on Christie Avenue just before 11 this morning and found the bodies of a man and woman. Investigators don't know what led to their deaths. The homicide division is now handling that case.
New at 4, disability advocates feel Metro Transit is failing them. Advocates released their first ever report card to measure the transportation company's progress. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer joins us in studio with the changes they're hoping to see. Diamond.
Well, Brent, it's been nearly a year since Metro Transit scaled back call ride services because they didn't have enough operators. Since then, advocates say it's caused some riders to wait hours and in some cases have their trips canceled.
All too often, people who purchase cars and can drive them are not aware of how well Metro Transit is working.
Robin Wallen, a member of St. Louis Metropolitan Alliance for Reliable Transportation, also known as SMART, was joined by disability advocates Thursday. The group released a report card with grades on how they believe Bi-State Development's Metro Transit is doing as it relates to the call-a-ride service. For ADA compliance, they gave the service an F. They say rider call logs show them dialing hundreds of times and nobody picking up the phone.
When you call, it just kicks you out, and there's some people that call like 50, 100, 150, 200 times, and so those calls aren't recorded, and they give up.
For meaningful engagement with people with disabilities, advocates gave a D. Seyoon Choi says while Metro has an ADA advisory committee, it needs to be expanded.
We believe that that committee can be expanded and empowered through Metro, allowing people with disabilities to have a greater voice.
The advocates gave an incomplete in the category of keeping promises. Barbara Scheinbein says a new phone system for call-a-ride has been unveiled and set to be expanded in May. But she says the ADA consultant hired last year for the service hasn't produced a report yet.
Metro made several promises publicly last year. They've all been started, but none of them have been completed.
Finally, advocates gave the customer experience a D+.
I've asked Bi-State Development officials multiple times today to respond to the report card, but they have not gotten back to me yet. However, they did point to their own report from February, which showed they made improvements to their call system for increased call capacity. And they anticipate their ADA consultant will release recommendations this spring.
Tonight, President Biden delivers his third State of the Union address.
With the general election now unofficially underway, the president must deliver a strong message to appeal to voters. One of the groups he needs to reach the most, young voters. A group of Gen Z and millennial content creators will be talking with lawmakers before the State of the Union, using their platforms to encourage young people to get involved.
Once we do, then we're unstoppable. You know, I think we're the most vocal generation.
We have the power, we're just not utilizing it.
One key issue for young voters, U.S. support for Israel in the war in Gaza. Tonight, President Biden is set to announce the military will lead emergency efforts to construct a port on Gaza's coast to get more humanitarian aid to Palestinians. Meanwhile, former President Trump is already attacking the president and his policies, especially on immigration. You can watch President Biden deliver the State of the Union address tonight on 5 on Your Side. It begins at 8 p.m. You can also watch it on KSDK.com, the 5+ app, and on our YouTube page.
The best of the best when it comes to basketball in the Midwest is in St. Louis, why fans are flocking to Enterprise Center this weekend.
The National Weather Service getting a facelift. How these upgrades will help improve how it tracks storms.
And vintage KSDK taking us back to the day a plane crashed into a local high school. What witnesses say happened just before impact.